when life doesn't play by the same rules that you play by. Kindness alone won't save you. Niceness certainly won't shield you. That's where strength, true but controlled strength, comes in. Let me explain something to you. Strength doesn't mean aggression. It's not about walking around with your chest puffed out, forcing the world to respect you. That's not power. That's insecurity. You see, real strength is quiet. It's calm. It's the ability to be dangerous without being reckless. To have power without the need to flaunt it. That's what makes you effective. That's what makes you reliable. And to be honest, it took me a while to learn this. Like, just because I can doesn't mean that I should. Now, this might sound strange at first, but being harmless is not a virtue. It's a weakness. If all you can do is avoid conflict, but you have no capacity to defend yourself or those around you, you're not virtuous. You're weak. And the world is not kind to the weak. But here's the twist. When you build strength, when you develop the capacity to act, but choose not to unless it's necessary, that's where virtue lives. That's where respect begins. Think about it like this. A blade is sharp because it's meant to cut, but it's the sheath that keeps it safe. Without the sheath, the blade is dangerous to everything it touches. But without the blade, the sheath is useless. The balance of the two is what makes the weapon effective. You've got to sharpen your blade. That's your mind, your body, and your resolve. But you've also got to learn when to use it and when to hold back. It's about understanding your potential and focusing it responsibly. You see, strength without control is chaos. Control without strength is weakness. But the two together, that's where you can become unshakable. That's where you become the kind of person who can stand in the storm and say, I've got this. So here's the takeaway. Don't fear your strength. Develop it, hone it, and learn to control it. Not to suppress it, but to master it. Because when you do, you don't just become strong, you become someone others can count on. And that, my friend, is power. So now you understand this. Strength isn't about domination or cruelty. It's about control. But let's take this deeper. What does it mean to actually control your strength? What does that look like in real life? Because we're not just talking about physical power here. We're talking about mental strength, emotional resilience, the ability to hold your ground when life tries to knock you down. So let me tell you a quick story. The story of Samson, one of the strongest men ever written about. His strength was legendary. He could tear down entire gates, slay armies, and accomplish what no one else could. But here's the thing. Samson had no control over his strength. He let his emotions, his anger, his pride, his desires guide his actions. And what happened? His strength became his downfall. He trusted the wrong people, made impulsive decisions, and lost everything. Samson is the perfect example of what happens when strength goes unchecked. Power without discipline destroys you. You might win battles in the moment, but in the long run, you lose the war. And that's why control matters. It's not enough to be strong. You have to know when to act, when to hold back, and when to walk away. That's real strength. That's what turns raw power into purpose. Think of it like driving a car. If you're careless behind the wheel, you are dangerous. And not just to yourself, but to everyone around you. But if you are focused, if you are intentional, that same car becomes a tool of incredible potential. It can take you anywhere you want to go. Your strength is no different. You have to be behind the wheel at all times. Focused, disciplined, in control. Because the moment you take your hands off, that's when you crash. So here's the second takeaway. Don't let your strength control you. Take the wheel. Be deliberate with your power. Understand it. Respect it. And when the time comes to use it wisely. Because strength without control is destruction. But strength mastered, that's the foundation of greatness.